What Lucasfilm has, what they were able to accomplish for a second time within a decade, is Jake Skywalker, our beloved hero. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny opens up in World War II era where Nazis are losing and they got to get out of the certain part of where they have occupied. So they're filling up these trains full of riches and stolen treasure. Well, Indiana Jones is there, and he wants to take certain things back, along with his best little buddy Basil, I believe, played by Toby Jones. Mads Mikkelsen is a kind of an archaeologist, Nazi scientist guy who's on a mission as well. I would say about the first 20 to 30 minutes where the action takes place during this time, and it's all set during the night. It's all, a lot of shadows, a lot of darkness, a lot of clouds, a lot of then explosions, to where the deep fake of a younger Indiana Jones works pretty good. You can tell it's deep fake, especially too when you have Harrison Ford's 80-year-old voice, but it's Indiana Jones. And he's, kicking ass, trying to get what he's trying to get, which is a dial. It's a dial. And you find out later it's Archimedes' dial that he created. And it's one of the most treasured things that they have on the train. Other things are fake. There's a battle back and forth as far as, a Nazi has it, then he has it, then Toby has it, then a Nazi has it. Fantastic, incredible first 30 minutes of this movie was during that time. So they're successful. They have the dial, and on to the next adventure. Jump cut to the 60s where Indiana is an older man. And the song Magical Mystery Tour is heard through an outside window, which wakes him up because he's sleeping in his underwear in his living room. And he becomes that old man. Turn down your goddamn music. It's too loud. Grabs his bat and he's got to go down there and talk to the hippies to turn that music down. So he goes to work. He's teaching at a college in New York. This is all downtown New York in the 60s. You quickly get that there is a couple of opposing parties. There is the older Mads Mikkelsen, who has established that he helped the US get to the moon. It's Moon Day. There's a parade of astronauts that take place in downtown New York. You get that Mads and his people have an ulterior motive. Phoebe Waller-Bridge enters, and she plays Helena, the goddaughter of Indiana Jones. Basil, Toby Jones's character, his daughter. She wants to get some intel and wants to get the dial because ultimately she wants to sell it. So as the story progresses, they're on the hunt for the other part of the dial. You need two parts, and apparently they've been separated to where they've been placed in one particular place, then one particular part of the world. Indy has one. They got to go get the other one, which is in the Mediterranean. Phoebe's character also has burned a lot of bridges to where people want her dead. She's borrowed money. This one person who I believe is like some sort of prince or sultan who's in love with her, but he's totally cucked, wants her back. And he's, just completely, psycho for her. And what they think is a time machine device, when they put it together, ends up being a place, a portal that opens up to only one time, and that is the time of Archimedes during this battle. He's calling out for help to the future in hopes that they will return and help out, save his city. So it really comes down to who's going to get the next piece of the dial, and then what do they do with it? Well, Mads gets it and he opens up the portal, but he's trying to get to a place in time to where he can go back and not only get rid of the Fuhrer, but become the Fuhrer and fix the Third Reich in a sense. Because he's going to do it right. So he wants to go back to 1939, but then he realizes much too late, right before they're going to go in the portal, Indiana's yelling at him. It's like, you got it wrong, man. This is all wrong. He figured out it's only a one place destination. They realize it. It's too late. They go into this portal and they're in the land of our Archimedes, right? They're during this war with the Romans. There's battles. Mads and his people are killed off. Right before the portal, Indiana got shot, and it looked like a mortal wound right in the chest. But this being Disney, it is what it is, Lucasfilm. He's not dying. When they're in the land of Archimedes and they kind of foil Mads and his people, Archimedes is left there with Indiana and Helena, and he's like, I want to stay here. I want to die here. It's over for me. Maybe I'll help Archimedes. I don't know what, but just let me die here. And one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in cinema, Helena's character, it's probably a right hook and knocks out Indiana Jones. Helena. We wake up. He's back in his apartment, back from the first shot of the movie, after the flashback of the first 30 minutes. And he's like, he wakes up, well, where am I? And he's got his wound tended to. Helena's there. She's called Sala. He appeared in one brief scene early on before Indiana goes off on to follow Helena early on in the film. And then it's established that she called Marion, Karen Allen. She's coming with some. She was here, but she's out getting groceries. Now, it's established earlier that in that crotchety old man scene, there's divorce papers ready to be signed, and that their son was killed in Vietnam. Grief upon grief with crotchety old man. So when Karen Allen comes, they have this moment, and it's at the end of the film, where they talk about pain and grief, and they kiss, and they're together. Helena goes out with little Teddy and Sala's kids to go get ice cream, and seemingly winks at the camera as if you ain't seen the last of me yet. There's an Irish shot of Indiana's famous fedora hanging on a clothesline outside of Indiana's New York apartment on the fire escape. Iris goes in, hand, you see the hand, Indiana's hand, and he grabs his own hat. The end. I give you guys a story. I know it's pretty flat. I think I just wanted to get to the pros and cons first, because in discussing the film, talking about the story, it's not very thrilling to talk about. The pros. Harrison Ford is doing all he can to make this an Indiana film. He's absolutely wonderful with what he's got. It's really cool to see him and to hear him with the young Indiana, of course, but then to see what he has to work with, and every time he's on the screen, he lights it up. He's Indiana. He's one of our heroes. Another pro is give all props to James Mangold, who made a great looking film. It's a beautiful looking film. And I would say I would put up the first 30 minutes of this movie up there with the other Indiana Jones films. It's that good, those first 20, 30 minutes. The cinematography is beautiful. The music is, of course, it's wonderful. It's John Williams. So you get all the feels, and it looks like a really good looking Indiana Jones film. Mads Mikkelsen is good, good villain, great villain. And I think those are my pros. The cons. Well, listen, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna say that other critics or people that you follow are wrong. That the most glaring, thing wrong with this film is not only the casting of Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but it's how this character is written. Helena, she's not a likable person. I don't like her. I don't know Phoebe Waller-Bridge's work from before, so I can't say I'm a fan because I've never seen her stuff before. I know she has fans, so this con could be a pro to them. Fair enough. The way it's written and how it's executed and what she does goes from totally unlikable to totally unbelievable. I don't believe that this kind of like skeleton of a person, this very, is kicking all these men's ass. It just doesn't make sense. She's doing it while Indy's just standing there or maybe cowering under a table. And as someone that teaches martial arts and knows about, just about fight choreography, it just looked completely unbelievable. Forget that the way her character's written, but I just didn't buy it. You buy certain female actors when they're going up against, male foes like a Michelle Rodriguez, Gina Carano, even maybe Scarlett Joe with the character. Never bought this. Unlikable. Almost unwatchable. And unfortunately, which is a bigger con, is that she's in this movie a lot. It's a lot of her story. And from what I heard, there was more that was cut off. That huge con really kills everything else. The story just becomes silly, boring. And you got to understand, it's almost 2.5 hours of this. The first half hour was fantastic. Unfortunately, there's 2 more hours, and it just didn't deliver for me. In vaulting this Helena character at the expense of Indiana Jones, what Lucasfilm has, what they were able to accomplish for a second time within a decade, is Jake Skywalker, our beloved hero. Literally, it's Indiana Jones went to Jake Skywalker, says, "Hold my whip. Here I go." I couldn't believe what I saw. And I went in with excitement, cautious optimism. I was cautiously optimistic. I honestly also think that those 20, 30 minutes hurt the film even more because you realize young Indiana Jones stories is the only stories they should be telling. It was that good that the rest of the film was just garbage. You're like, what is this? Indiana's not Indiana? We have strong women in Raiders of the Lost Ark in these films. Marion, fantastic character. But again, that doesn't even matter because this con of this film of the Jake Skywalker of Indiana Jones just floored me, man. And I sat with it for a few days. What did I just see? What did I just see? And this is the final coffin nail, man. It is the coffin nail. So, this ultimate con of the first 20, 30 minutes really kills the legacy of Indiana Jones for me. Why can't you give why can't you give James Mangold a Indiana Jones movie set during that time? That first 30 to 20 minutes could have easily been a film. You add another 60 minutes where it's just about Indy trying to get these things off a moving train, and he gets this person and that person. I mean, that is gold. What an absolute snow job they did with us to tease us with these first 20 minutes, these first 30 minutes, right? Well, I guess I should be happy, right? And then you can go along and do what you want to do and ruin this character and ruin everything that he stands for the next 2 hours. While you put up a character that's so unlikable, so unbelievable for us to accept. I think the legacy is going to be in serious trouble. I truly believe that, especially with the track record of Disney's Lucasfilm, is that our biggest fears have been met. And maybe it's just me. At the time, I was a little Chicano kid who would go to the movies almost every day during the summer, and I saw every movie, and I fell in love with Raiders of the Lost Ark, with Indiana Jones. We all wanted that hat and that bullwhip. That's my review. I think the older generation, older than me, that love Harrison Ford and Indy, they'll go see it. It's not a huge market. Um, there's no reason for young people to see it. Moving on with the legacy, I would recast Indy as a young man and have some great adventures back in the day. serial adventures, pure escapism, because that's what Indiana Jones is all about. This was just a selfish exercise in pleasing a very, very small audience within a bubble. That's just Hollywood. And waking up and realizing that about the first 20, 30 minutes just makes me more determined that this movie should never have been made. Absolutely should not have been made. If anything, you make those first 20 minutes into its own film, 90 minutes tops, and you have a great Indiana Jones films. There are also, I want to say one last thing before I finish in regards to other reviewers coming out with with their reviews and being positive about this. This whole rhetoric of, hey, lower your expectations. Whoever said this was going to be like the original trilogy? Man, you're crazy. You got to lower those expectations. This could never be like an Indiana Jones. This could never be like a Raiders of the Lost Ark. Well, you know what I got to say to that? I pay full price for my ticket with a full heart of optimism and a full head of escapism when I go to that movie screen. There is nothing tempered. There is nothing lowered. There is nothing half measured in my enthusiasm for watching film. I don't go to watch film half-ass. I'm a fully fledged fan who's a 50-something-year-old man that grew up on this. Or even if I didn't, I always go to the movie theater with hope and excitement. That's what the whole context and the convention of going to movies is all about. Why would I ever think I was going to see an Indiana Jones of lowered expectations? You can take that rhetoric and stick it up your ass, because that is not how I see and watch movies and how I share movies with other people. Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. So go take that type of what do you call it? Disclaimer, and stick it where the sun don't shine.